time. A quieter than normal hurricane season is expected in 2026, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. While this may seem like positive news, it brings another concern for Tobago, an increased risk of drought. Forecasts indicate that conditions will be drier than usual, placing additional pressure on already limited water supplies. This strain could trigger a range of challenges affecting both local communities and the surrounding environment. Senior meteorologist Carrie Chapman-Dumas explains the potential weather patterns that may arise.
Increased dryness through July, and this then will trigger short-term drought for Tobago.
Senior meteorologist Carrie Chapman-Dumas stated the persistent dry conditions is as a result of El Niño neutral conditions, therefore rainfall is expected to be scarce over the next 6 months.
3 months near normal. Beyond that, we're expecting below normal amounts of rainfall.
For May so far, Ms. Chapman-Dumas noted that Tobago has received an average of just 2.2 millimeters of rainfall, only 2.5% of the typical amount for this time of year. Additional challenges include strong winds, hot days with temperatures exceeding 33 degrees Celsius, bushfires, and sargassum blooms. In other news, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has expressed deep sadness over the passing of former NAR politician Herbert Atwell over the weekend. In a statement today, the Prime Minister said Mr. Atwell served the country during a transformative period in Trinidad and Tobago's political history and contributed to the nation's democratic development. The Prime Minister reflected on working alongside him during the NAR administration of 1986 and described him as a dedicated public servant who answered the call to national service. She extended condolences on behalf of the government and people of Trinidad and Tobago to his family, friends, former colleagues, and all those grieving his loss. And the House of Angostura has announced a new strategic partnership with Italian spirits company Velier SPA, appointing the firm as its exclusive distributor for premium rums in Italy. The move marks another step in Angostura's international expansion, strengthening its presence in a key European market known for its appreciation of high-quality heritage spirits. Velier will oversee distribution, brand development, and market growth with an initial focus on increasing visibility in Italy's premium on-trade sector. The partnership will also be supported by trade education, bartender engagement, and consumer activations to highlight Angostura's versatility in cocktail culture. CEO Ian Forbes said the collaboration will help showcase Trinidad and Tobago's rich rum heritage, while Velier's Luca Gargano notes strong potential to grow the brand among Italian consumers. In some further news, Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum has agreed to allow Iran to be based in Mexico during the World Cup, claiming the United States were unwilling to host them. According to a BBC Sport report, Sheinbaum said her government had been approached by FIFA after the U.S. made it clear it did not want Iran's squad to stay in the country during the tournament. Iran were originally given Tucson, Arizona as their World Cup base, with all 3 of their matches scheduled to take place in the U.S. However, the ongoing war in the Middle East and related security concerns has led to uncertainty around their participation. The World Cup is being co-hosted by the US, Canada, and Mexico, with Iran scheduled to play New Zealand on 15th June and Belgium on June 21st in Los Angeles, then switching to Seattle on June 26th to face Egypt. And that's what's making the news this morning, but joining us right now is the host of Trinidad and Tobago Today, Virmala Balkaran. Good morning, Virmala.
Good morning, Carrie. Take a deep breath. I feel like you need that deep breath this morning.
Yeah, I know. Plenty of reading. Jeez.
Good morning, Carrie. How are you today?
Good morning. I am doing quite well. I actually slept slightly better, and yeah, so I'm in good spirits. What about you?
I'm good. I got about 8 hours of sleep last night.
8 hours of sleep?
Yeah. You know,
that sounds like a luxury.
It definitely was, but I really had to force myself. And also, how's the itch in your throat?
Oh, no, it's gone. It's gone. Thankfully.
Okay. Yeah, well,
very grateful for that.
That has been replaced with some more health issues for me this morning. But you know what? We are pushing on. I'm really glad to be here. It's also Tuesday, a beautiful Tuesday morning. You see how bright it is outside?
I know, it's like it's getting bright so early, you know, so sometimes I'm in a little bit of panic mode if I see the sky is starting to light up before I leave home, and I'm like, oh gosh, I need to get down to the station.
Yeah, well, you know, you are early. Every time I come in here, you are always here. So that means I got here late and you got here on time. So Carrie, our producer sent us a video yesterday and it really put things into perspective. And I wanted to share that with you. You know,
Yes,
we have
please.
so many problems and we continue to think, okay, well, my problem is bigger than yours. And, you know, we're always going through it. But if everyone in the world were to write their problems on a piece of paper,
Right.
put it in a jar, shake it up, and then were to draw for another problem, would you give up your problem for someone else's?
No, I personally wouldn't, because, you know, our problems are very intertwined with our lives, and, you know, like it allows us to go through these certain struggles and come out of it with more character. Now, I don't know what somebody else's problem may be. You know, what if it's something that I can't come back from? What if it's a problem that is greater than what I'm facing now? On the inverse side, what if it's something they consider a problem, but I wouldn't consider a problem? So while it might be easier on me, like, where's the growth in that?
Yeah, I totally understand. And yes, many of us would just say, hey, I'm going to stick to my own problems because you never know, someone else is going through something way greater.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
that
I mean,
hopefully,
like,
yeah.
even if somebody's problem is like, oh no, I have all this money, I don't know what to do with it, you know, and
You know, that's
you don't
a
know
really
the
good
unhappiness
problem
that
to
came with
have.
that, you know?
Exactly, exactly. So, you know, today just be, this sounds really weird, but be grateful for your own problems and that they're no one else's and that you don't have anyone else's problems.
That's
and
right.
just, you know, try to get through it because it could definitely be worse. Hopefully that puts things into perspective.
Into
for you this
perspective. You know what would be a good problem to have?
What?
Blueberry cheesecake. Too much blueberry cheesecake.
Well, it is Blueberry Cheesecake Day, so it's a beautiful day to celebrate. Maybe making a blueberry cheesecake for your coworkers.
Not pointing any fingers, you know, but we do happen to have a chef on screen right now, right?
And sometimes it can be me, but most times it's you. So let's see. Thank you for that, Carrie. In advance, you know, they say thank you for things in advance so that you'll always get it.
Right,
so I'm
yeah.
expressing gratitude to you this morning, the power of manifestation.
For the blueberry cheesecake, the impending one, right?
So if you're celebrating World Blueberry Cheesecake Day today, well, we hope that you have a slice for us.
All right, I hope somebody has a slice for me and I do have to make it, you know. Not because I'm a chef, I always want to cook, you know.
I really feel your pain. I really, really do. Well, Carrie,
No,
we
you
have
don't.
another
You don't feel my pain
packed
at all.
show for you as usual today.
Usual.
Yeah, today we're talking a little bit about nutrition, especially getting our children ready for exams, and not just children, but anyone preparing for exams. We're going to be talking to someone really, really, really qualified in that area. You'll get an idea of what you should be doing to, you know, nourish yourselves before any exam or also anything big. Also, we're continuing our discussions about mental health, so that's something you don't want to miss.
Right. Well, I never want to miss anything on the show.
Of course. All right, Carrie, we'll talk soon.
We will. Thanks so much, Virmala.
You're welcome.
When we come back, the Trinidad and Tobago Today morning show gets going right after this break.
More news, more access, more ways to stay informed. TTT News covers the stories that matter on air and online. Join us nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
क्या बात करता है यार? गणपति ने तेरे सामने आके तुझसे बात की? और नहीं तो क्या? गणपति जी मेरे सामने आए और मेरे कान में बोले कि अजय, अगर तू अपनी मम्मी को खुश देखना चाहता है तो आज ही अपने डैडी के स्टूडियो जा, उनका हाथ पकड़ और उनसे अपनी मम्मी की शादी के बारे में बात कर। बाकी सब मैं संभाल लूंगा।
वो सब संभाल सकते हैं यार, वो तो भगवान है, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं।
इसीलिए तो मैं
फिर सनम माना फिर सनम माना ओ इससे पहले नहीं ठहरे रहना वहीं आ जाना अभी नहीं जब मैं कहूँ।
What if possibility was only the beginning? Welcome to Limitless, a journey where ideas become action and action becomes impact. From breaking barriers and challenging misconceptions to designing with dignity and driving innovation with heart. This series explores how inclusion is moving from concept to community in Trinidad and Tobago. Across each episode, we meet the change makers and everyday leaders turning challenges into opportunity, building real solutions that change real lives, from possibility to impact. This is Limitless.
Season equals new dreams, and many football fans are dreaming of their team actually winning this season. But the reality is that only one team can win, so many will just be dreaming and wishing and hoping that their team can deliver. Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Notice I have not mentioned Arsenal. Don't be upset, I'm not mentioning Man U either. This is Atto Bolden inviting all of you to follow the 12th man as they celebrate a new season on TTT and enjoy the ride.
Tuesday, 26th May 2026. The time now it is 6:11 a.m. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world. I'm Virmala Balkaran and welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today. Let's take a look now at what's trending this morning. Political analyst Derek Ramsamooge has won a landmark case before the Caribbean Court of Justice over his detention in Suriname in 2020. In a ruling delivered on Monday, the CCJ found that Ramsamooge's detention under a beperking order, which denied him access to attorneys and family, breached his rights under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. Now, the court also ruled that an alleged confession obtained while he was detained was unlawful, though it said the ruling would not invalidate the criminal charges still pending against him in Suriname. Ramsamooge was awarded $30,000 in damages after the court found his deteriorating health, including a stroke, was partially linked to his unlawful detention. And in some business news, the House of Angostura has announced a new partnership with Italian spirits company Velier SPA. Under the agreement, Velier becomes the exclusive distributor for Angostura's premium rum portfolio in Italy, a move aimed at expanding the brand's international footprint and strengthening its presence in the European premium spirits market. Now, the partnership will focus on brand visibility, trade, education, tasting experiences, and consumer engagement as Italy continues to show growing demand for aged and heritage-driven Caribbean rums. And visitors are once again being urged to protect TNT's natural spaces after a video showing piles of garbage left at a popular hiking site sparked outrage online. The Trail Seekers member who was behind the video says while many people enjoy the country's beaches, trails, and rivers for free, some continue to leave rubbish behind, damaging the environment and, of course, the country's image. The call now is for hikers and visitors to take greater responsibility, with groups being encouraged to please carry garbage bags and clean up after themselves.
We country, man.
Yeah, we
bring foreigners here, we bring foreigners here, they want to see this.
Oh yeah. We here with some Jamaican people today, and this is what they have to see at our prime tourism spots.
Coming up inside the show today, we discuss nutrition tips for CSEC students with dietitian Candida Khan and continue Mental Health Awareness Month. Those conversations with counseling psychologist Stephanie Stam. We also celebrate spoken word and youth creativity with National Poetry Slam 2026 and Bocas Lit Fest. And also we talk a little bit about Fashion Week with the Caribbean Academy of Fashion and Design and look ahead to the North Zone Alma Mater Football Invitational. So grab a cup of coffee and settle in. Trinidad and Tobago Today has begun.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
Being connected, it means a lot because first of all, you can't do this by yourself.
When you have your phone, you always have somebody at your side. I could call for help, anything going on, you know.
I'm giving children the opportunity to experience outside of their neighborhood.
Digital is kind of a comfort, you feel good that people in your lives are always able to be contacted.
I was with the other network and I was having problems, so I joined Digicel and I never regretted it.
Unleash your imagination with TTT's terrific Toon Time. Join us as we stop evil geniuses from taking over the world from Super Z. Or hop on board for a journey into outer space with Galaxy Kids. Be a part of our quest to save the forests alongside our robot pals from Bugs Bot Ignition. Or let's go exploring with Duda and Dada. Catch terrific Toon Time weekdays at 4:15 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. It's fun-filled adventure with terrific Toon Time right here on TTT.
क्या बात करता है यार? गणपति ने तेरे सामने आके तुझसे बात की? और नहीं तो क्या? गणपति जी मेरे सामने आए और मेरे कान में बोले कि अजय, अगर तू अपनी मम्मी को खुश देखना चाहता है तो आज ही अपने डैडी के स्टूडियो जा, उनका हाथ पकड़ और उनसे अपनी मम्मी की शादी के बारे में बात कर। बाकी सब मैं संभाल लूंगा।
वो सब संभाल सकते हैं यार, वो तो भगवान है, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं।
इसीलिए तो मैं
With CSEC examinations currently underway across Trinidad and Tobago, many students are focused on revision, late nights, and exam pressure. But nutritionists warn that what students eat during this period can actually significantly impact concentration, memory, and overall performance. As part of our focus on student wellness during exam season, we're speaking now with Ms. Candida Khan, a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and chronic disease specialist based in Trinidad and Tobago. Known for her work in lifestyle disease prevention and Caribbean-based nutrition guidance, she supports clients through balanced, practical eating approaches tailored to local foods and everyday routines. She operates from DD's Healthy Living Cafe and Nutrition Consultancy, offering both in-person and virtual consultations focused on realistic, sustainable eating habits. And as students push through the exam period, she's joining us now to break down how proper nutrition can support focus, energy, and mental clarity. Good morning, Dee Dee.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
You're most welcome. Thank you for being here. Now, with CSEC exams underway, how important is nutrition in supporting a student's focus, of course, their memory, and also, most importantly, their performance?
Yeah, I think nutrition is a completely underrated topic, and I really appreciate the ability to be able to share some information that will hopefully guide us towards better results. Because when it comes to nutrition and the way that our brain functions and the way that we perform in exams and in class overall, we really don't understand the connection so well. And I hope that I can explain it properly because our brain literally needs glucose to function, and it needs a lot of different vitamins, minerals, dietary fiber so that we could perform our best. And when it comes to nutrition, balanced eating is the only way to provide our brain and our body and our organs with what it needs so that we get the best results from it. So, in terms of our brain function, what we have to really understand is that it's literally about 75-80% water. And we tend to not realize how important hydration is for our brain, and it's also made of fat. So we have to also think of healthy fats and different nutritious options that we need to fuel our brain. For example, like different nuts, different seeds, fatty acids, omega 3s that we get from fish. Those are some of the things that we could focus on during this time for balancing our eating habits so that our brain could function better.
Now, you also remember from our exam times, many students kind of skip meals or they rely on quick snacks. You mentioned a few things that they can eat. So what impact can snacking have on your energy levels and your concentration, and of course, what you choose to snack on?
Yes. And even as adults, we tend to not realize how skipping meals and poor eating habits and not snacking or eating on time could fluctuate our hormones and help us to feel like really fatigued and really sluggish and even give us brain fog. Because when we don't eat at the right time and we don't give our body the right nutrients, it really does impact our energy, our mood, the way that our sugars are regulated in our blood. Because remember, if we need to eat to live, and we have to eat to also make sure that we give our body the right nutrients at the right time, and that's the only way that we could perform our best. So skipping meals is something completely I think is a very unhealthy habit that a lot of us do, but we tend to not realize the major impact. And if you notice too, in terms of like weight and health issues, skipping meals could lead to also a lot of visceral fat around the organs. And kids nowadays could also develop like diabetes and other lifestyle diseases when they have a lot of fat around their organs, because age is just a number when it comes to health issues. You could have health issues at a very young age. I remember when I was in exams and I didn't even know, but my sugars were really high when I was like maybe 12 or something like that. And I had a lot of brain fog and I really couldn't function properly in class, and I was very lethargic, and a lot of that had to be contributed to the fact that I was nearly eating on time, and I was skipping meals and I was eating a lot of sugary things, a lot of refined carbs. And that's really one of the biggest issues. I think the choices that we make as well definitely impacts our health long term, but skipping meals is something I would definitely not recommend.
Now, a few seconds ago, we had your website on the screen where you have some really good choices and easy recipes, things that you can throw together, snack recipes. So, you have these easy things that you can pull together that are healthy for you. So can you tell us now, what are some affordable, locally available foods that can actually help improve brain function, especially during study periods?
Yes. So, and that's the thing. I think we tend to think that healthy eating is expensive and healthy eating is like the most expensive thing in the grocery or the market. But honestly, our local foods are the best choices. I mean, we could alternate our multi ultra processed foods from the grocery with our local foods to get us some sort of balance, because we have such an abundance of things out there, and when things are in season it's way more affordable, so sticking to like our provision, our local fruits like the watermelon and pineapple, different combinations with that for snacks, that's definitely a choice that I would say would be a better choice. Anything that's grown that you could pick off of a tree, you could dig out of the dirt. All of those things are better choices because they're less processed. Well, they're not processed, they're natural. And you get it locally. So you have less preservatives and different weird ingredients in it that's going to affect your health long term.
Now, another thing, there's a lot of pressure during exams, and often we turn to caffeine, energy drinks, or those sugary snacks. So, what should parents be or students be mindful of here? I'm pretty sure you've experienced that as well. You're just in a crunch and you really want to stay awake during an exam. You reach for maybe an energy drink or something like that. That's really bad, right?
Yes, it's terrible. It's the worst choice you can make because the caffeinated beverages increases your heart rate. It increases your anxiety. It could make you more stressed out. And on top of that, lacking sleep is going to make your brain fog worse. And it's not going to make you or help you to have better thought processes when you're answering the questions. So it's trying to stay up and crunch the night before is probably not the best decision because it really does impact your ability to function the next day. And we tend to not realize that, but what we tend to do then right after is crash. And it really does affect our health because our sugars and our hormones and everything just kind of gets unbalanced. But the anxiety and the heart rates really increase with the caffeine, and these energy drinks could set you up for health complications after. What I would recommend is just sticking to water, making sure you drink your tea, maybe some hot chocolate, something natural that you could make, fruit infused water. These things are way more hydrating and will provide you with better energy.
Yeah. Now, what does a simple exam day meal plan look like using typical Trinidad and Tobago foods?
Right. So that's a really good point because we tend to not realize how we could put together like a healthy, nutritious day with our local food. So something easy, like if you wake up very early in the morning, you should probably like have a snack if you don't want to eat anything heavy. Because when we think of breakfast, I think one of the main reasons we tend to skip breakfast is because we think it has to be a huge meal. And a lot of us in the morning don't want to stomach anything like that. So you could eat something like simple as cereal, yogurt, nuts, fresh fruit, and we'll stick to your favorite combination so that will keep you better energized. And again, developing a healthy relationship with food is very important. So that could be like a light and easy breakfast, or you could do a sandwich and you load it up with your favorite vegetables, whether that's lettuce, cucumber, tomatoes. Or you could do a usual sada roti and have your vegetable choka or talker on the side, or tomato choka, your baigan. And that could be a really nutritious start to the day. And then, of course, snacking in between is vital. So, in terms of the ultra processed snacks that we tend to get everywhere, and like even the cafeterias in school, what we could probably balance it with is a fruit from home. So always making sure that you grab your fruit, your favorite fruit, I think is one of the best choices you could make. And you could probably split it half in the morning time, half in the evening time, however your school day runs. And then of course a balanced meal could be our pilau and coleslaw. It could be macaroni pie, stew chicken, callaloo, so it could be our local favorite foods. You just have to think of how you want to introduce some high fiber into your meal rather than just the carbs alone or the meat alone and the veg or the meat and the carbs alone. It's just like about a balance. And then you have like your dinner, which you could probably do provision and some veggies and some meat. It really depends on your preference, but it's just about creating a better balance and it's less about restriction.
Yeah. Now, as you mentioned fiber, can we talk a little bit about the importance of fiber? How can we introduce fiber, some practical ways, and why do we need fiber really?
Yes, because I think the topic right now is really hyped up for protein, But protein is not as important as dietary fiber. I think the hype should be more on making sure that you have sufficient fiber, because fiber is important for gut health. It helps to regulate your blood sugars. It helps to regulate your metabolism because it increases the fullness that you feel, and it helps to slow down the rate of digestion throughout your body from whatever it is that you're eating. And fiber comes from foods that like complex carbs, like our provision, so are digesting. It comes from beans, like legumes like your chana and your lentils. It comes from nuts and seeds. It comes from fruits. It comes from vegetables, like cucumber and lettuce. Basically, fiber, very little to no calories in our vegetables. So there are lots of foods that we could get our fiber from, but again, it's refined carbs that take away the fiber. Those ultra processed foods that we have so much around you, like it's so convenient to get these things everywhere. This is what really prevents us from getting more nutritious alternatives, because we tend to use that convenient eating as an excuse rather than focusing on colorful plates and how we can introduce more food groups, which is way more important to get all the vitamins, minerals, and fiber into our life.
Now, before we go, Didi, sometimes we can give all the information in the world, but it can be a lot for students, and especially students and parents, to really absorb. So what is one simple nutrition tip that you would give to encourage every CSEC student to adopt as they head into these exams? Something easy and something that they can immediately start to do.
Oh, that's tricky because when it comes to a healthy lifestyle, and this is why I always say that it takes time. It's there's no one thing that we could do that's gonna help us to get to our goals. But one thing we could start to work on today, I think, is more important, is definitely not skipping meals and eating on time, because it really does regulate our blood sugars more effectively, and it helps our hormones to regulate more effectively. So timing is very important, along with hydration. I think that a lot of us are dehydrated, and every single person who does a body composition assessment with me, their hydration status is so low. And that is so dangerous because every organ in your body needs water to survive. So definitely trying your best to drink sufficient amounts of water during the day. I think that one of the fear, a lot of misinformation is that is shared. A big misinformation factor is that you could over drink water, but the amount of water that you have to drink to reach that toxic level is like gallons of water, which is impossible. So I think that we tend to not realize how much liters of water we need based on our weight per day. So definitely focusing on proper hydration and not skipping meals are definitely two things that I would say are the most important health tips we should work on today.
All right. Thank you very much, Didi, for being here with us and making this so easy, for breaking it down for us and giving us these practical steps. And of course, easy meals that we probably already consume. We just, we need to be better with not skipping meals. I'm taking that as a lesson as well. Thank you for being here with us this morning. And we hope to see you again soon.
Thanks so much. You take care.
All right. Take care. That was Candida Khan joining us to talk all about nutrition as we head into our exams, especially the CSEC exams or anyone sitting any sort of examination. The time now 6:33. We take a short break and come back with more.
beauty of Indian heritage, TTT invites you to immerse yourself in Desi May as we mark Indian Arrival Month with color, music, and magic of Indian cinema. Throughout May, enjoy your favorite Bollywood hits and timeless classics, from iconic blockbusters to treasured favorites, bringing the heart of India straight to your screen. Tune in every Saturday at 8:35 p.m. and every Sunday from 4 p.m. to experience rich traditions, captivating stories, and unforgettable characters that continue to inspire generations. Plus, watch, text, and get rewarded for our exciting viewer promotion. Desi May, celebrating Indian Arrival Month, exclusively on TTT.
The Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago presents IWA Africa 2026, a flair for freedom, a fashion odyssey weaving African consciousness through style. Directed by Richard Young at the Winifred Atwell Auditorium, Queen's Hall, St. Anne's. Sunday, 7th June 2026. 4 p.m. Prelude, 5 p.m. Presentation, 7 p.m. Pavilion. Igniting African consciousness, dismantling colonial legacies, a flair for freedom. IWA Africa 2026.
Hi everybody, I am Leah.
And I'm Dion.
And we are
The Duncans.
Listen, we're here to tell you about a project the Lord has given to us called the Marriage Confessional. It is geared toward married couples, those that are on the road to marriage, and those that want to get married one day.
So join us on TTT and on Facebook and YouTube at TTT Live Online.
The Marriage Confessional, only on TTT.
Early prostate cancer has absolutely no signs or symptoms, and that's why we strongly push the men once a year, get out there and get screened with a digital rectal examination and a PSA, prostate-specific antigen, a blood test. Any PSA above 4 is abnormal. All men, once they hit 40 years of age, go and have that PSA test done.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
As May marks Mental Health Awareness Month internationally, conversations surrounding emotional well-being, community support, and access to care are once again being brought to the forefront. This year's theme, More Good Days Together, encourages people to lean into connection, compassion, and collective support while reminding individuals that they do not have to struggle alone. Here in TNT, growing concerns surrounding stress, burnout, violence, financial pressures, and emotional strain continue to highlight the importance of normalizing mental health conversations and encouraging people to seek help without fear or stigma. Well, joining us this morning to discuss these important issues is Stephanie Sam, a counseling psychologist who will share insight into emotional wellness, recognizing the signs of mental distress, the role of family and community support, and why checking in on our mental health has become more important than ever. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. It's such a pleasure to be with you all here this morning.
So, Stephanie, Mental Health Awareness Month encourages more open conversations around emotional well-being. So, from your perspective, why are these conversations still so important today?
Right. So mental health conversations remain something so very important in our society today because many individuals are experiencing so many different types of issues that are affecting them emotionally, from grief, burnout, stress, and having these conversations. We're able to normalize seeking support and seeking therapy. When we start these conversations in our homes, in our environments and schools, we are normalizing the conversation. We're educating the public that it's important to get the help that is needed.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about this year's theme. It's more good days together. So what does that message mean to you as a psychologist?
Right. So this theme is it's such a powerful theme, and it reminds us that connection is important. That word together reminds us why it's important to get help and to have that sense of support. And as a psychologist, I believe that good days are not about pretending that life is perfect. It's about having the right emotional tools and support systems to help you navigate any challenges or emotional distress that you may be experiencing in life. So this team really reminds us about the importance of community, connection, and having that sense of support when you're struggling.
Yeah, and speaking of struggle, many people are still struggling silently because of stigma, or there's that fear of judgment. So Stephanie, why is reducing stigma such a critical part of mental health care?
It's important because, yes, as a world, and most importantly in the Caribbean context, it's important to reduce that stigma because there are still individuals that still believe seeking support and getting help is a sign of weakness. You have that stigma where people are afraid going to their therapist because they're afraid of being seen as weak or crazy, quote unquote, crazy, or something is wrong with them. And it's important that we have these conversations and we educate the public through something called psychoeducation, that it's okay to ask for help. Just as how you would go to the doctor when you're physically unwell, it's okay to get support from a therapist when you need that sense of emotional support if you're struggling through any crisis or challenge. So reducing the stigma, especially in the Caribbean, is important because we are able to encourage persons to get early support, early intervention, and to remind them that seeking support is not a sign of weakness, but instead a sign of courage and a sign of strength.
Yeah. And now, what are some common signs that someone may be emotionally overwhelmed or in need of support? Because sometimes, you see people around you looking totally fine. But if you look a little closer, there may be signs. Are there signs, and what are they?
Yes. So some persons may be withdrawn. They may be impacted emotionally. They may suffer from anxiety. They may tend to isolate or have aggressive behavioral patterns. I think it's also important to also notice an individual's behavioral patterns in their sleeping patterns, their appetite, and how they're able to communicate. And you said something very important, and it's a reminder that not everyone who is struggling may look depressed. Sometimes persons may function normal on a day-to-day basis or routine, but internally they are struggling. And I think it's important to really notice all of that, how they're able to communicate or react, or if they seem withdrawn.
Now, we speak a lot about self-care. We tell people, take some time and do some self-care. It will really help. But what really does healthy emotional wellness actually look like in everyday life?
Right. So I believe it goes beyond that pampering or the thing that we know as bubble bath. So having a cup of tea. Self-care is so much more. Self-care is about ensuring that you maintain healthy boundaries. You communicate openly. You seek the help that you need during difficult challenges. Self-care is so much more than that simple pampering. It means hydrating. It means resting. It means asking for help even when you're struggling. And it goes beyond that. It means ensuring that you seek the help when is needed and get the right support. And that's self-care. Self-care is so much more than the pampering.
Now, social media, financial stress, there's violence in society, and so much burnout is really affecting people. So how are these pressures showing up in the lives of your clients?
So on a day-to-day basis, I work with so many different clients who struggle with all of these issues. And we have seen social media. While social media has its positive, we have seen its negative, and how it can impact an individual in terms of how they view themselves overall, their overall self-confidence. It's the same thing with financial stress and burnout, and even being exposed to crime and violence. We live in a nation where we see that on a daily basis, and how much it can affect an individual's overall mental well-being. So yes, all of these issues can impact an individual's mental health negatively. And not just as an individual, but we have seen how much it impacts us as an entire collective community, that trauma we experience as a community.
Yeah. Now, sometimes you tell someone, go to therapy, get some therapy, it will really help. And that can be a little bit intimidating for someone who's never been to therapy. So for that person, how would you describe the process and the benefits of speaking with a professional?
So I'm going to say it here, therapy is beautiful. Therapy is a safe, confidential, and non-judgmental space where you're able to navigate your emotions, explore your feelings with a trained mental health professional. Yes, it may be scary, and I want to encourage you that you don't have to do this alone. It's going to take some time just to get accustomed to it and just to be able to open up to, yes, someone new. But I want to ensure you that it is such a beautiful experience. Even if you're not dealing with a crisis or immediate emotional distress, sometimes individuals come to therapy just to have a space to talk, to vent, or just to simply learn about themselves. And I want to encourage you, seek therapy, because at the end of the day, it's important to take care of your mental health. And just as how, as I mentioned, just as how you would go to the medical doctor when you're physically unwell, it's okay to seek a therapist just for that extra support if you're struggling.
We have some lines on the screen for you right now. So you have the primary crisis hotlines, there's 800 COPE, and also there's Lifeline and Childline. They're on the screen for you now. So Stephanie, how important are family, friendships, and especially community support systems when it comes to mental health and healing?
Right. So in psychological research, it is proven to be that social support can produce sound mental health. And it's so important because as humans, we are wired for that sense of connection and that sense of community. So having that sense of support could definitely help you through to navigate any emotional challenges you may be dealing with, whether if it's grief, stress, burnout. But I want to emphasize that sometimes there are individuals who don't have that support, who don't have a strong social support system. And that's why it's important as communities, as mental health professionals, to encourage that sense of community and that sense of compassionate and empathetic care and understanding so that we can stand in the gap for individuals who don't have that support and to encourage them that they should seek help, especially if they're struggling and that they're not alone.
Now, what advice would you give to everyone this morning? You know, anyone who may be struggling, just going through a really difficult time?
I want to encourage others that you're not alone, that mental health is important. It goes just beyond 1 month. Mental health matters every single day of our life. And if you are struggling, please know that you're not alone. There are so many individuals, trained mental health professionals in our nation here to support you through whatever challenges you're dealing with. And you don't have to face it alone. Additionally, I want to remind others to just simply be kind, because kindness can definitely go a long way. You never know what someone may be going through. So just simply be kind. Make your mental health a priority today. You are not alone.
Thank you very much, Stephanie, for joining us this morning. Always a really good conversation whenever you are here with us. And thank you for weighing in on Mental Health Awareness Month. Thank you. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Same to you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. That was Stephanie Sam speaking to us about Mental Health Awareness Month. A very important message to take away this morning. Be kind. You never know what someone is dealing with, what someone is living with when they go home, when they go to school. It is a lot, and not just adults, but also teach your children to do the same thing. When we get ready to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up the first hour of Trinidad and Tobago Today.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success, because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
Being connected, it means a lot because, first of all, you can't do this by yourself.
When you have your phone, you always have somebody at your side. I could call for help, anything going on, you know.
You know, I'm giving children the opportunity to experience outside of their neighborhood.
Digicel is kind of a comfort, you feel good that people in your lives are always able to be contacted.
I was with the other network and I was having problems, so I joined Digicel. And I never regretted it.
The Mother Church of the Anglican Diocese suffered significant damage during the earthquake of 2018. Efforts are underway to raise funds to restore this national heritage site. You are invited to make your donations with monthly deposits at any branch of the First Citizens Bank, account number 2696950, Marval Road Branch, in the name of the Incorporated Trustees of the Anglican Holy Trinity Cathedral Restoration.
Well, once again, we're at summer's doorstep. The action is picking up with a variety of events that'll thrive alongside all of the popular attractions. Hello everyone, I'm Aidan St. Agath and welcome to Caribbean Passport TV.
All eyes will be on Antigua this summer for the 2026 Carnival celebrations, to which everyone is invited to feel the rhythm. With over 2 months of pre-events to warm things up, Antigua and Barbuda is event and activity driven. So if eco-adventure and marine life are among your passions, then Scooter Snorkeling is the tour company for you.
More than 181 years after the arrival of Indian indentured laborers to Trinidad and Tobago, the Holas family has committed to preserving this rich cultural heritage for future generations through song and storytelling. Nicole Duki has more.
In India, all the brothers and sisters were crying. His mother and father left the brothers and sisters crying. And they came to Trinidad to settle here. And they broke ties with all the friends, all the families in India. So they came on the Fatal Razak.
A song that tells the story of Indian indentureship in this country as it occurred approximately 181 years ago. This song was written by Rukmini Holas Bipath with the help of her father, Harry Holas. It served as a reminder of when Harry's parents came from India to Trinidad. For decades, the Holas family has made its mark on the cultural landscape of Trinidad and Tobago through music, and Rukmini and her siblings learned the art of singing from their father.
Sometimes we used to have him sing it over and over for us to get the tune.
Rukmini recalls the songs she heard her parents singing when she was growing up. This one, by her mother, speaks about a Hindu wedding.
So in this song, this is a wedding song where she is saying when a dulaha is getting married, when you're going to the dulahin's home, you have to be prepared that in case anybody look to make any confusion, would always be humble and always be able to understand what is happening, because you are the Dulaha and you are going there.
As she explains, the Indian indentured laborers brought with them many types of songs, some of which are still sung today.
And where they settle down, they pass on their traditions. They learn to sing the classical songs. They get the piece of dantal and make up their own, steel and make up their dantal. They make shak. They use the skin and make drums.
Rukmini stresses the importance of passing on traditions throughout the generations, saying she dedicated her life to do so. As a result, in 2023, she was awarded the Hummingbird Gold Medal.
So the song says, so listen, parents and children, we have how to pass on this dharma, this religion, this all the traditions, all the values, teach it to the children. Dharma, teach all the children the values, teach them the traditions, let them know where the parents came from, the struggles they had endured. And today, we may not have the same struggle, but we need to learn from get lessons from what they had when they came here and they worked. So we know we are a result of their hard work. So we have to learn now to carry on our traditions, carry on our customs, carry on our religion, and always do what we know is right for your dharma.
Nicole Duki, TTT News.
Thank you so much, Nicole. And of course, this coming Friday, we do have a very special treat for you as we continue to celebrate Indian Arrival Day in Trinidad and Tobago, 181 years. Well, to find out what the weather is going to be like today, we've got an update from Zaina James.
I am Zaina James with your weather update. Tuesday will continue to be dominated by significant concentrations of Saharan dust, producing dull and hazy conditions across both islands. Upper-level moisture will add to that dull look, but dry air remains in place, so rainfall activity will stay limited with only a few brief isolated showers possible throughout the day. At sea, stronger low-level winds will keep things breezy to windy, but also push conditions to the higher end of moderate with wave heights between 2 and 2.5 meters in open waters, while sheltered areas could get between 1 and 1.5 meters and occasionally become choppy.
Since 1972, one sound has been living in the heart of Trinidad and Tobago, the longest running radio station in the nation.
We're your holiday soundtrack, whether it's on your day off, long drives, or house lives. We are always sweet.
This is music with meaning, music with memories.
Music that feels like home.
And it's not just the songs, it's the voices you trust, personalities you've grown with.
Laughter that sounds familiar.
This isn't just radio, it's tradition.
It's memories. It's part of who we are.
Sweet 100.1 FM, the rhythm of our identity, part of your family.
Always 100, got you on your way. Sweet 100, sweet 100.
The plays that shake the arenas. The stories that move a nation. From football to cricket, track to tennis, every win, every rivalry, every headline. This is where Trinidad and Tobago come for sports.
TTT Sports with Nasira Mohammed, daily at 7 p.m.
Ever wondered what happens before the lights come on? Before the crowd pours in? Before the magic hits the stage? This is your all-access pass. Sneak Peek with Junior K takes you behind the scenes of the biggest cultural moments and the hottest events across TNT. From the sound checks to the stage setups, from final rehearsals to exclusive interviews. If it's about to be big, we're already there. Catch Sneak Peek airing daily on TTT and relive every moment on all our social media platforms. Sneak Peek with Junior K, where the story starts before the spotlight.
Jamila Bannister, host of the Socially Safe podcast, the new TTPS podcast where we share real stories, teach real lessons, and create real impact. From online safety and youth crime to community policing and personal responsibility, we go beyond the headlines and talk about what's happening in our communities with the officers and experts who are on the front lines. Because safety starts with awareness, conversation, and action. Tune in to the Socially Safe podcast on the TTPS YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Don't miss it.
Watch on TTT, Mondays 6 p.m., Tuesdays 1:10 p.m.
Good morning, this is your CDT News Update. I'm Gary Roberts. Making the news at this time. As Trinidad and Tobago moves toward Emancipation Day, the rhythm of remembrance begins to rise. Organizers of the Pan-African Festival are once again weaving culture, education, and dialogue into a powerful tapestry, reconnecting the region with the spirit of its African ancestry. Under the theme Igniting African Consciousness, Dismantling Colonial Legacies, this year's festival unfolds through 25 vibrant events, each one echoing unity, affirming identity, and inspiring empowerment. Campus President, Principal of the University of the West Indies, Professor Rosemary Bell Antoine, reflected on the lasting impact of colonialism, particularly its role in dividing societies.
The colonial project understood that divided populations are easier to control, but consciousness demands that we reject those inherited divisions. Our task is to build solidarity rather than scapegoating. We cannot find justice while reproducing hostility. We cannot heal while deepening division. We cannot dismantle colonial legacies by maintaining colonial mentalities towards one another. So I ask that we build partnerships and bridges.
Meanwhile, Ghana's High Commissioner to Trinidad and Tobago, William Anani Abotsi, praised the festival's mission, noting its alignment with efforts to strengthen ties between Africa and the Caribbean.
Together, Ghana and Trinidad and Tobago can light the way by uniting Africa and the Caribbean to show the world what excellence looks like when rooted in unity, education, culture, and shared commitment to preserving our history and uplifting future generations.
The festival begins in June with AWA Africa, an emancipation fashion showcase curated by designer Richard Young, under the theme A Flair for Freedom. In other news, at the Shell and Explorers Award ceremony on Monday, Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, Professor Prakash Prasad, challenged students to make smart use of modern technology, including artificial intelligence, without allowing it to replace their own thinking. He reminded them that while digital tools can enhance the learning experience, the ability to analyze, question, and think independently remains essential.
That keep on using new technology, but do not stop thinking. There's a growing movement now where people are saying, for the first time, at least one commentator in the United States is saying that, and other places also, that with the increased use of technology, technology is no longer supporting education. Education is being used to support technology. And for the first time in the US, they're saying that the succeeding generation is not as smart as the existing generation.
The minister also revealed that his ministry is actively working to reform the education system and strengthening digital skills from an early age.
And in that regard, with partnering with the Ministry of Education, we want to start training teachers to be able to start coding, physical coding, at the primary schools, and if possible, secondary schools. But right now, we cannot start these programs if the teachers cannot do it.
In sport now, West Indies Test batsman John Campbell believes his team is heading in the right direction ahead of their upcoming one-day international series against Sri Lanka in Jamaica. Campbell and other members of the team are currently taking part in a 10-day high-performance training in Antigua.
Camp, I think our session went pretty well this morning. We've had some plans in place, and I think the way we've been implementing them over this training session, and I think we've had conversations prior to this camp as well about what we need to do as a team or what we need to do to get better. And I think that everybody has bought into it, and we're heading in the right direction.
And that's what's making the news at this time. When we come back, it's hour number 2 of Trinidad and Tobago Today.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
Being connected, it means a lot because, first of all, you can't do this by yourself.
When you have your phone, you always have somebody at your side. I could call for help, anything going on, you know.
You know, I'm giving children the opportunity to experience outside of their neighborhood.
Digital is kind of a comfort, you know, you feel good that people in your lives are always able to be contacted.
I was with the other network and I was having problems, so I joined Digicel and I never regretted it.
Up for this exciting challenge and confident about your business? If you are, the 1020 feature is just what we need. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
What if possibility was only the beginning? Welcome to Limitless, a journey where ideas become action and action becomes impact. From breaking barriers and challenging misconceptions to designing with dignity and driving innovation with heart. This series explores how inclusion is moving from concept to community in Trinidad and Tobago. Across each episode, we meet the change makers and everyday leaders turning challenges into opportunity, building real solutions that change real lives, from possibility to impact. This is Limitless.
A less than active hurricane season is expected for 2026, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Now, while it may sound like good news, it means another worrying phenomenon for Tobago, a forecast of drought conditions. Not only will weather conditions be drier than normal, but water supplies are likely to be under strain, causing a ripple effect of challenges for communities and the environment. Candace Jackson has the details.
If you reside in Tobago and are already getting weary of hot and dry conditions, prepare for it to get worse.
Increased dryness through July, and this then will trigger short-term drought for Tobago.
Senior meteorologist Carrie Chapman-Dumas stated the persistent dry conditions is as a result of El Niño neutral conditions. Therefore, rainfall is expected to be scarce over the next 6 months.
So again, just for the first 3 months, near normal. Beyond that, we're expecting below normal amounts of rainfall.
For the month of May so far, Ms. Chapman-Dumas explained Tobago received an average of only 2.2 millimeters of rainfall, which is 2.5% of the average rainfall for this time of year.
On that day, we actually measured 2.5 millimeters of rainfall as a direct result of the tropical wave in Charlottesville, 1.5 millimeters of rainfall in Roxborough, and in the Crown Point area, less than 0.1 millimeters.
Along with the dry conditions, Ms. Chapman-Dumas explained other issues will arise like hazardous seas and Saharan dust.
There's going to be a significant plume of Sahara dust affecting us starting from today into next week. It's one of the strongest plumes that we have had or are going to have since the year has started.
Other problems include strong winds, hot or warm days with temperatures above 33 degrees Celsius, bushfires, and sargassum blooms.
Sargassum thrives on heat. If we have less rainfall, increased temperatures, sargassum is going to thrive.
If a hurricane or tropical cyclone does occur, she says there is greater potential for disastrous landslips and landslides when the dry soil becomes saturated. While TEMA is ensuring that together with stakeholders, they are doing all they can to prepare, Chief Secretary Fali Augustine has this message for all Tobagonians.
1, pray for the best, prepare for the worst. And 2, drunk or sober, mind your business.
Candace Jackson, TTT News.
The National Poetry Slam is the premier spoken word championship in the region. And what began as a small open mic competition in 2012 at the University of the Southern Caribbean with a $1,000 prize has really grown into a world-class showcase of some of Trinidad and Tobago's top spoken word artist. Now in its 14th year, the competition offers one of the largest cash prizes in local spoken word and serves as the closing event of the annual Bocas Lit Fest. And this year's competition featured 2 audition rounds, followed by a semi-final at the Central Bank Auditorium and the Grand Slam finals at Napa on May 3rd. 9 poets challenged defending champion Shaquille Warren, with Joshelle Johnson emerging as the 2026 National Poetry Slam. Well, this morning we have joining us Marielle Forbes, Bocas Lit Fest Youth and Hospitality Manager, along with Joshelle.
Good morning.
So, Coach Man, I recommend a carbon copy of Carlos Edwards, a veteran who fit because he don't frequently frolic in fits, but stays sober, who ever show up to training hungover from rum and Coca-Cola. Somebody who the opposition cannot pass, because he looking to planners that with more blade than the savannah grass. So it's real jam. Okay, so Carlos Edwards, Douglas, Redman, all you could guess? I suggest Kess. Now my second Soca Warrior selection would probably be Bungie. Because to be honest, I don't know how we coming up after going down so low with OT. Plus, if you try to run in Bungie box, that is a death wish. Every free kick would be defended and cross-headed away with a ball head. Because you see last time what it going on with Brent Sancho, I know this time we are going through that dread. So we have Bungie for fire, Iowa Dicey Water Boy, Water Lord. And if Dwight York's replacement decides or team yearns for youths, you all know it's a yes for young brother to lace up his boots. Who say Coutin to jam them like Juve? And if we need someone kind of ecstatic, we have Paris. And just because he could star in several positions all at once, and this might be a bit random, but I'd even select Certified Samson. But it have one man could be we number 10. And it had to be Double M, because all you know that man, bound to score.
Good morning again.
Good
Joshelle,
morning.
thank you for that. How do you memorize all of this? How do you retain all of this?
Practice, plenty practice.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here with us again, Marielle and Joshelle. And congratulations on becoming the 2026 National Poetry Slam champion.
Thank you very much.
What was going through your mind when you won at that moment?
It was a mix between this is surreal, I couldn't believe it. But that morning I really did practice visualization. I really tried imagining myself coming home with the title at the end of the performance, and to know that it was happening the very evening of the same morning that I thought about it, it I was just in total shock and disbelief.
Yeah, now your performance clearly connected with both the audience and the judges. So what personal experiences or messages really inspired the pieces that you brought to this year's competition?
So for this year's competition, the semi-finals, I performed the piece that I just performed, entitled Soca Warriors. Me being a football fan, especially a supporter of Trinidad and Tobago's football, I was very disheartened when we did not qualify yet again for this year's World Cup. So that is what sparked that thought to do that piece. In the second piece, I was thinking about something a little more serious because it's the finals. You know, your message is very important, the relevance and how it connects with the audience. And I choose to highlight certain things that would have taken place in the public spotlight regarding the TTPS and public confidence and things like that.
You took that football one seriously. That one was jihad. Yeah,
it was.
So much so that it was reflected in your work. Well, that was also a good decision. Look at that.
Thank you.
And it goes to show that when you really speak from your heart, it makes a huge difference.
And impact, yes.
Yeah. So, Marielle, this National Poetry Slam has been shaping youth voices and spoken word culture for a long time, I believe 14 years. Now, why do you think that this platform continues to resonate so strongly with young people across Trinidad and Tobago?
I think just as Joshua said, you know, it comes from personal experiences, it comes from your desires, it comes from what you want to see change, you know, the impact you want to make on in the world. So I think that that is the main reason why it continues, you know, to move forward. It's the voice of young people, it's the voice of our communities.
Yeah, and I know that this year's championship really moved forward during a period of transition and uncertainty as well. So what can you tell us about the continued success of the slam, and what does that say about the value of really investing in the creativity and of course the cultural industries?
I think losing a title sponsor for anybody would be, you know, could be disastrous. But this year proved that, you know, with community and the support of, you know, the people who want to take the championship forward, we were able to, and I am very hopeful, or we are very hopeful, that we will be celebrating our 15th in 2027.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot. Now, back to you, Joshua, for a bit. Spoken word really requires a lot of vulnerability. So yeah, so you have to be vulnerable, and also you're speaking from that personal space in your heart, and it takes a lot of courage. So was there ever a moment where you doubted sharing a story publicly?
Of course, yeah. I think spoken word, we struggle between sharing personal stories and then totally abandonment of self, where you step into the shoes of another character, of someone else. So, you know, sometimes when you're sharing your personal stories, it is a bit tough. You know, you want to get this out here without seeming a particular way. I mean, fear of judgment is a normal human thing, I guess. You know, but it is.
Yeah. Well, there's a level of confidence that really comes from being able to actually share. So, Marielle, the slam is often described as more than a competition. So how have you seen it impact the confidence, the opportunities, and for sure the careers of young creatives over the years?
Well, over the past 14 years, we have literally seen a community of poets grow up through the championship. Grow up in their craft. They have gone on to represent Trinidad and Tobago internationally and regionally. They have finished their tertiary level education. They have done a lot with their career as spoken word poets.
Yeah.
So it's been very, very, very inspiring.
So, Joshua, what's next for you now that you've conquered all of this?
Well, I hope to fly the flag of the spoken word champion very high. You know, I hope to get some exposure out there and expose more people to the power of spoken word, right? The impact that it has, what it can do for spaces, for entertainment, and for just sharing a message.
That's right. The social issues, you know, the lived experiences of people. So what are the conversations that have been emerging out of spoken word artists, so this generation of poets? Both of you, tell me.
Well, I think we see a range of topics from, mental health issues, mental health challenges, to romance. Joshua is a huge romantic. We've seen his piece on football and tying it into the Soca Warriors. We've seen pieces on the government, the TTPS, social issues, economic issues.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a breath. Yeah.
So, Joshua, walk us through having an idea. So you're thinking one day, maybe you're driving to work and you come up with an idea like, hey, this might be a good piece for me. How do you then, from concept to execution, what is that journey like for you as an artist?
Well, I think I approach it one of two ways. So if it is for competition purposes, I will think more about structure, especially how I'm going to end, how we're going to close off this piece. It must end, I think, most times on a high, right? And then we think about structure. Where do I begin? When I know where I want to end, and then connect A to Z. What will be the flow like? What transition we going through in terms of moods, in terms of the theme of the piece.
Yeah.
But if it's more leisurely, I think a lot about the rhymes and connecting words. So you think about this theme, this topic, this idea, and then you have a lot of connecting words and phrases to this central idea, like a brainstorm. And then you start to piece rhymes together, and then you make the sentences actually make sense.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Even when he speaks, it sounds like he's delivering a piece. Very, very interesting.
I don't know how they do it.
I really don't know. Now, Joshua, what would you say to young people who may be afraid to use their voice, to step up to the mic, to go on that stage and pursue spoken word, but they have it in them and they know they want to do it?
Okay, so for about 31 years of my life, fear froze me in place, right? So I did not capitalize on my potential, on my talent. But when I stopped studying all of that, when I shed the fear of failure, when I got rid of that feeling of people will be judging me, who's this fella, what he feel he doing, and just stop studying the noise, just come out here and do what I like, what I love, what I want to do. It paid off. So take that leap of faith, don't study any naysayers, come out of your comfort zone and do that thing. You never know.
Omar, before we go, what's next for the National Poetry Slam, and how do you see it evolving the years ahead?
Well, what's next, immediately coming next week, we will be streaming the Grand Slam via pay-per-view, so you have a chance to see Joshua and 9 other poets go up against each other. And of course, we see the results, but you'd have the opportunity to view via pay-per-view for $7.99 US, so you can stay close to social media, National Poetry Slam, and Bocas Lit Fest. All the information will be available to the public, and it's going to be streamed for at least a month or so. Coming up next, we're in the gears and planning for 2027. We also we have our Bocas Spoken Word Intercall, which is a youth-driven spoken word competition for secondary school students. So we're working on that. We also have our community festivals in collaboration with Methanex. So we're very, very busy. We're around.
Yes, absolutely busy.
Yes.
Joshua, any plans maybe to re-enter next year? Can you re-enter next year?
Of course.
Yes.
I have to defend my title.
He has to.
You have to.
He gets an automatic advancement.
Right. So the poets will meet me in the final.
Yeah, well, closer to then, we hope to have you back to talk about your preparations. And of course, Marley, you're always welcome here to talk all about the amazing work that you've been doing. Well, congratulations again to you, Joshua, and we hope that you continue to soak up your victory. It's well deserved.
Thank you very much.
The time now is 7:22 on Trinidad and Tobago. Today, we understand that there is some traffic building in parts of Port of Spain. We'll tell you about that as soon as we have all the details for you. Please be safe on the nation's roads. We take a break and come back with more.
In the rhythm, hidden beneath the soil, sleeping within the spirit of Tobago, something awakens. On Friday, 29th May, Tobago Carnival 2026 awakens. Awaken to the sounds of mud, mass, music. From From 4 p.m., the Pigeon Point Heritage Park transforms into the heartbeat of the island for the official launch of Tobago Carnival 2026. Witness the sunset ignite the sky as rhythm, color, and pure bacchanal energy consume the night. This is not just a launch. This is the awakening. Feel it, live it, be there. Tobago Carnival 2026. Mud, mass, music.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
I'm Jamila Bannister, host of the Socially Safe podcast, the new TTPS podcast where we share real stories, teach real lessons, and create real impact. From online safety and youth crime to community policing and personal responsibility, we go beyond the headlines and talk about what's happening in our communities with the officers and experts who are on the front lines. Because safety starts with awareness, conversation, and action. Tune in to the Socially Safe podcast on the TTPS YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Don't miss it.
Watch on TTT, Mondays 6 p.m., Tuesdays 1:10 p.m.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
The Caribbean fashion industry continues to grow, and helping to shape that future is the Caribbean Academy of Fashion and Design, the country's first and only dedicated tertiary-level fashion institution. Established under the University of Trinidad and Tobago, CAFD has become a hub for creative and technical fashion training, preparing students for careers in design, production, and entrepreneurship. One of the Academy's biggest annual events is the CAFD Fashion Week, which features student art exhibits, designer showcases, and the highly anticipated Senior Thesis Fashion Show at Napa. Well, joining us this morning to tell us more are Patricia Lewis, program leader at CAFD, and Renika Ellis, a final year fashion design student. Good morning, ladies, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us. Yeah. Good morning.
So, for viewers who may not be familiar with CAFD, tell us a little bit about the Academy and the role that it plays in developing fashion and, of course, creative talent in Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean.
So CAFD was established approximately 18 years ago. And you would think that a lot of people would know that it exists, but the truth is, people still say there's a fashion school in Trinidad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we have been existing for quite a while. We have graduated a lot of students and really contributed. We want to contribute to the fashion industry of Trinidad and Tobago. We want students who would become earners, who would become examples. We also would like this institute to be one that is regional. Right now, we are able we have regional students, and we're able to do that. But do we want to build this institute or this community through UTT that will really impact Trinidad and Tobago as an earning sector? So that's what we're about. Training these young designers, emerging designers. They're people who come to the academy, students who have already retired and they want to do something different, who are just out of school, who want to make a name for themselves, and UTT is helping them to do that.
Now, CAFT is also known for its hands-on approach to learning. So why is practical training so important in fashion education? And of course, you'll answer me after that. As a student, how has that experience really prepared you for the industry?
Fashion design, fashion is practical. It's practical. You can think about it and not do it. It's a practical skill. You have to actually get in there and learn the skill, the foundational things. It's very, very, very practical, and that is the base of our teaching. It's hands-on. We teach people, we teach, you do. We teach, you do. And so on. And that's how the whole program is built. As a matter of fact, we have a BFA in fashion, right? We have a BSA in fashion. That's what Renika is graduating at this time. Yes. And we also have a diploma in fashion design with an option in fashion management. So yes, we learn the skills. There are a lot of skills that are the foundation of the fashion industry. So the garment construction and the pattern drafting and the CAD, the computer programs that go along with that. But also, apart from that, we also do business of fashion. So when you're finished with UTT, you are able to open a fashion business, in turn at a fashion establishment. And as I say that, I want to also add that there is one special thing about our program is we have an actual production facility that was established in 2021. And that they made it 6-8 facility, which is a small batch production facility that was designed so that students could come across from the passion program after they've graduated and actually intern there, right? Now that, right now we're doing some restructuring, but we're going to be relaunching that very, very soon. So that students can really take full advantage of that opportunity. As a matter of fact, it wasn't just designed for students, but for small batch manufacturers who would want to design and actually make their clothes right here in Trinidad and Tobago, so they don't have to ship it to China.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
We have that facility existing, and it covers not just the small batch and the prototyping of garments, but also we can do from the base of which is the tech pack, which is like a blueprint of a garment that is sent to a garment factory, so that the garment factory has all the specs to do that garment for you. UTT actually does that. See, Made 868 actually does that, and we're going to be getting back into that very, very soon.
Now, Renika, tell us about that hands-on approach to learning. How has that really prepared you for the industry?
So I would say when I entered into the fashion design program, it was not what I expected it to be in terms of the magnitude of work that you have to do and the knowledge that you actually gain. When I decided to become a fashion designer, I always said to myself that I want to learn my craft and understand my craft. And being a student at UTT, I have now come to understand that, you know, sometimes we look at a garment and we don't really understand the background in terms of just how your shirt is probably made. There is somebody who will take your measurements. There is somebody who will draft the pattern. There is someone who will cut the fabric. There is someone who will put those pieces of fabric together, and then you eventually see your garment in a store. So there is so much background work that goes on in terms of creating and constructing a garment. And being a student at UTT, it really helped me understand that in its entirety.
Now, Renika, you're also a final year student, so congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Wow. How many years?
4
wow.
years.
4
years.
Hard but beautiful years, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
And you're preparing to showcase your work. So what has that process been like emotionally and creatively for you?
I would say, firstly, if you're a student at UTT and you don't cry, you're on the wrong floor. Right? We have all sat and had emotional breakdowns. It was so much. And it's not only tears of sorrow, but tears of joy, tears of accomplishment, tears of understanding that, you know, in the beginning it didn't make sense. It was so kind of like batchy. And then eventually as you come down to the end, you understand how each different course played an integral part in the final coming together in order for you to even produce a garment.
Yeah. It all makes sense
Yes,
in the end.
it makes sense in the end. It's 4 years, it's very long.
Right.
And, you know, even if I was to encourage someone, I would say don't be deterred by the 4 years, because honestly, trying to do it in a shorter space of time only defeats you as an individual in terms of understanding all that it takes you to get here. But in the end, the feeling is just words can't explain.
Now, this senior thesis fashion show that will be presented as part of the CAFD Fashion Week. Now, this has become one of the Academy's major annual events. So tell us about that now, Patricia, and all the activities that are part of it.
Okay, well, the senior thesis show is actually part of the UTT's CAFD Fashion Week. It's a week of events. Starts off with an exhibition, a static exhibition that runs from the Monday to the Friday, which is the 1st of June, to the 5th of June. And during that week too, we have what is called a designer space, where Renika and her colleagues will get an opportunity to do a boutique front. And that will be a special part of the exhibition where they put their clothing that they've designed and worked on for such a long period of time and gotten in there. And so the public has an opportunity to have just a view, a snippet of what the show is going to be like. And then of course on the Saturday, we have the show which starts at 6 o'clock at Napa Theatre 1. And this particular show is a special show for us because for the first time we have invited the fashion design diploma students to have a part of the show, and also our alumni to have a part of the show as well. Wow. Yeah, so
that's going to be a very special one, yes. Yeah. So the graduates get to be a part of, well, to mingle and network with the alumni and learn a lot from them as well. So that's amazing. Now, Renika, what are some of the biggest lessons or challenges that you've experienced during your time? I know you said some tears would have been shed. Patricia is just chiming in with a smile. Now, how have those things really shaped your growth as a designer heading out into the world of fashion?
So I must say, as a mature student, because I'm actually 39, I'm a mother of 3. So it wasn't just school, it was navigating all of the other things outside of school and being a full-time student. That means it's full-time hours. What I would say is that in terms of what you take away and the magnitude of knowledge that you have gained, it was an amazing experience. And you know, I'm very happy that I chose this route because, again, I said I wanted to be educated in the field. I wanted to understand what fashion design is about because, you know, I would say it's trending now that so many people are fashion designers, but you know, because of the type of family that I came from, understanding that you must have your qualifications and it doesn't necessarily box you into academia, but just being qualified in whatever field that you are in, right? And taking that now and building on it so that you as the individual understand every aspect of that. And if you now transition into being a business owner, you now understand every aspect of your business and how to make it sustainable.
Now, Patricia, looking ahead, what opportunities do you believe exist for young designers and creatives in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean?
Through CFD, young designers they learn so much. They learn so much. And so we have to now create our own opportunities. What I mean by that is, yes, you would have, like Renika, you've gone up there and you've done the work. Now, you have an opportunity to intern with designers who have been experienced. You have an opportunity to link up with your colleagues and decide, okay, we're going to do a partnership. You have an opportunity to use Made It 6-8 and create the designs, do your small batch, and then sell your wares. What is also coming out of all of this is the realization that, yes, we've been around for a while and we've had a lot of designers who have graduated. What is happening now is there's a bit of a shift in that we need technical people. A lot of people want to be designers, and that's great. Kudos to you. Somebody's got to be there to do the clothes, to make the clothes, the technicians, and they're skilled and experienced in their own right. And what CAFD does is we train them all around to do everything. They can do everything, but still, not everybody will choose to be a technician. Some people choose to design only. So there's a gap now that we're really looking forward to fill in that encouraging students, go ahead and get established as a CAD pattern maker. Go ahead and do the work as somebody who's doing tech packs, specialize in different areas of the field, so that you could now really service the industry, because there's a lot of scope out there for designers. You could be a stylist, you could be a pattern maker, you could just work on the floor of the factory. There's so much scope, and it's really an exciting field to be in. And as Renika said, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
It is worth it. So, Renika, before we close, what message would you like to send to young people this morning who may be thinking, I want to be just like Renika, I want to do this, but I don't know if should I do that leap of faith? Is it worth it in the end? Is it really worth it, Renika?
It's really worth it in the end. I remember wanting to do actuarial science. That's where I was when I was in secondary school. And then working throughout the corporate world, and then just, you know, COVID would have given everyone an eye-opening experience. And then I said to myself, you know what, I just don't want to go back in the office anymore. So then I decided now at this point to go to school and study to learn something completely different, that when I chose subjects in CXC, this would not have been the path. So my message to any young person that is out there, one, don't ever think that whatever you choose to do now, that is your final destination, and that if you do not get there, that something is wrong. Understand that times change, you mature, you feel differently about different things. And then depending on if you're a spiritual person or you just, you know, align yourself with whatever your natural God-given talent is, you will now direct yourself in that way. And I will also say to wherever that road takes you, qualify yourself in it so that you can better understand all of what you are doing, so that you can now build in yourself and your business and your talent and your brand, whichever way that takes you. And just don't give up. Everything is hard work. Once it's worth having, you're going to have the obstacles, you're going to have the challenges, and you know, you may not see the light at the end of the tunnel, because I was looking for it at the beginning of the year and I wasn't seeing it. And now the show is next week, Saturday. And 4 years have gone. And, you know, I stood in my presentation and I got very emotional because I couldn't believe that this was the end. So just keep going. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Thank you, ladies. Congratulations again to you on your graduation, Renika. We're looking forward to Fashion Week, Patricia. We can find all the information on the screen. We had some information there for you as well. Thank you, ladies, for being here with us this morning.
Thank you very much for having us.
All right. For all the stories that you see here and more, follow us at TTT Live Online. You can find everything that you've seen here today, as well as at TNT Today Show. If you want to contribute to the show in any way, all you have to do is send us an email at tttoday@ttt.co.tt. A story idea, a press release, or simply you just want to collaborate us with, we'd love to hear from you. Again, that email, it's tttoday@ttt.co.tt, and be a part of the conversation that's shaping our nation. Take a break and come back to wrap the show.
Being connected, it means a lot, because first of all, you can't do this by yourself.
When you have your phone, you always have somebody at your side. I could call for help, anything going on, you know.
You know, I'm giving children the opportunity to experience outside of their neighborhood.
Digital is kind of a comfort, you know, you feel good that people in your lives are always able to be contacted.
I was with the other network and I was having problems, so I joined Digicel, and I never regretted it.
TTT Weather with Zaina James, daily at 7 p.m.
What if possibility was only the beginning? Welcome to Limitless, a journey where ideas become action and action becomes impact. From breaking barriers and challenging misconceptions to designing with dignity and driving innovation with heart. This series explores how inclusion is moving from concept to community in Trinidad and Tobago. Across each episode, we meet the change makers and everyday leaders turning challenges into opportunity, building real solutions that change real lives, from possibility to impact. This is Limitless.
Barcelona drawing a game, not winning their first set of game. Worried, concerned.
Emotional damage is fantasy.
What a wonderful finish. They're seeing something. Come again, one more time.
Your world moves fast, so do we. TTT News brings you the people, events, and issues that matter most. Stay informed, stay ahead. TTT News, every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Football, alumni pride, and community development will all come together later this month for the second edition of the North Zone Alma Mater Football Invitational. Hosted by Vibes or Love and Energy Lifestyle, the one-day tournament is designed to strengthen intergenerational connections within school alumni communities while promoting football development and healthy lifestyles. The event takes place this coming Saturday at the Diego Martin Sporting Complex and will feature 8 alumni teams from across the East-West Corridor. Organizers are saying that this initiative goes beyond competition, aiming to reinforce the role alumni football can play in mentorship, succession planning, and community transformation. The event will also include a UEFA Champions League final watch party. The tournament has received a full endorsement from the Secondary Schools Football League and the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, in keeping with CONCACAF's grassroots charter theme, developing players, inspiring people, transforming communities. Well, joining me this morning, I have on set Mr. Kwesi Peterson, the North Zone Alma Mater Football Invitational founder. Good morning, Kwesi.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. So tell us, what inspired you to launch the North Zone Alma Mater Football Invitational?
Well, the first thing was my love for the game. That was one, and my love for my alma mater, Belmont Boys Secondary School. We also partook in something called the Nostalgia that is held every Saturday after Carnival. It's a Zemvisem tournament, and they bring different schools from different zones to play. And I saw this as an opportunity to really expand on it, right? So basically that is what inspired me, more or less.
Now, this tournament is more than just football. So what gap were you hoping to fill within the alumni community? There's a lot of emphasis on alumni in this and the wider sporting landscape.
Right, so more intergenerational, as we said. There's a big gap between kids playing now and our time, right? The over 40 clan, probably over 35 as well. The format of the Secondary School Football League has changed as well. And we see the kids having that eagerness. So we want to be able to serve as mentors to these youths and provide the competition as an end game for them,
Yeah. And yeah, you're centering the event around those former school rivals, the alumni pride. So this should be very interesting.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, because you have a lot of older ones coming together, and then they're like, oh, I remember when we used to
Oh, yeah, it's
play.
nostalgic moments.
Yeah.
We bring back a lot of memories, the camaraderie, the respect that we have for each other back then. And you could even, by extension, use this as an anti-crime initiative where, you know, you remove that fractions that exist throughout Trinidad right now too. You know, seeing that, you know, this guy from this area or this person from this area, it brings them together. It sends a message.
Yeah. Now, what has the response been like from the former players and the schools and the supporters since you've introduced this tournament?
Very, very strong. Our first edition, we saw 6 teams participate. This year we have 8 teams, and the feedback that I'm getting, you know, from the social media platforms and stuff is very, very encouraging.
And this has support from SSFL and TTFA as well.
Yes.
So what does that endorsement mean for the growth of this event?
It's very, very powerful, right? It's very powerful. There are other existing tournaments like this one. There's the East version, the Old Boys Intercol in the East. This occurs around the Christmas period. There's the South Zone that occurs the Saturday after Carnival as well. There's the Easter Cup on Glorious Saturday. And then we have the North Zone Alma Mater. There's also one in New York City that occurs around Labor Day. And teams travel to go and participate in that one as well. So this is the kind of initiatives that the TTFA wants to see happening in terms of grassroots football being played throughout.
Yeah. Now, you know, we continue to have discussions about how we can continue to inspire the youth and take them away from, you know, being idle and get them into something that is positive, like football. Now, from your experience and all the work that you've been doing, how do you see football contributing to healthy lifestyle, community development, and also alumni football really contributing to mentorship in the communities?
Oh yeah, well, most of the over 40 players would have kids. We would have kids who actively participates in football right now. So that's somebody that they look up to. Your parents, you could start with that. If not, they have an uncle or so that participates in tournaments like these. So they wouldn't have been able to see us back then, but they get the opportunity to see us now. That is the mentorship part. The health part is it keeps the over 40 players in check, right? Because of our lifestyles, whether eating habits or probably drinking habits as well. We tend to probably be overweight at this time, but it gives us that opportunity to check ourselves, our blood pressures, our heart rates and stuff like that, you know, because in the past, you know, we would have had players who would have, you know, passed away on the field and stuff like that. Rest in peace, Randy, you know, so yeah, so it gives that encouragement. Sorry, I just get a little emotional there, sorry.
That's totally okay.
But yeah, so and where communities is concerned, it brings that interest, that level of interest from the communities where these games are being held. So for now in Diego Martin, I think Diego Martin have a little buzz around the Bagatelle area, you know? Looking forward to the tournament.
And Tracy spoke about the uncles who love football and continue to share their knowledge about football. We have an uncle here, his name is Sayo. Just so you know, that's our resident football uncle. So he's very interested in this as well. So let's talk about the event happening on May 30th now. So beyond the football itself, what can we expect? What's the atmosphere going to be like on May 30th?
It's going to be very energetic. We start off with the viewing of the Champions League final. We're going to have a screen up. Participants or patrons going to be able to view the game. And then we kick right into the tournament, right, which begins at 2 immediately after the Champions League final. We have a little surprise, didn't want to say it yet, because Trinidad is actually playing South Korea that same night at 7 p.m. So once the game could be streamed, we will be showing that game as well.
Interesting.
You know, that's in addition to.
Yeah. And what time does the event start on Saturday?
The gates open at 11. The event starts at 12.
Okay.
Right? That's the same time the Champions League game starts as well too.
And how can people be a part of this?
Oh, just come on down. You know, it's $40, just $40. For the early patrons, they get free doubles while watching the game and stuff like that. And after the game, you pay $25. So just come on down. We calling on anybody interested in football. It's going to be a full day of excitement, fun, nostalgic moments. You know, just old talk, banter, that kind of thing. You know.
Yeah. So in terms of who we can expect to see there, do you want to give us any sneak peeks of anybody that you know will be attending from the alumni?
Well,
or from your friends, perhaps?
So part of what we do in the program is that we honor people from each school. So we would be honoring our 1992 and 1975 football intercol winners, Dyson Belmont Intermediate. From Tranquil, I know they would have mentioned they would be honoring Cleaner. So I mentioned that because it shows how vast community is, how mentorship is. Somebody who would have played an important part in their time during school, you know. So to say names, familiar names, we have Kenwin Jones, who would have gone St. Anthony's. We have from Belmont, we have Marvin Bounty-Score Joseph, you know, who would have dominated school in that time. I'm not too sure who is the surprise will be. We are from QRC.
Well, it is a surprise, so we can't tell them all about the surprises.
Come on down and see.
Well, we're looking forward to that. It's taking place this coming Saturday, so go out and support. I know our very own Sayo will be there to support as well. He will love that. Well, thank you, Kwesi, for being a part of the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and all the information is on the screen here for you now. It's taking place on Saturday, 30th May at the Diego Martin complex. All right, well, the time 7:55. We're almost at the end of the show today, but we have to tell you this. Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa defended law enforcement officers amid public debate surrounding the Kaya Sili matter by referencing two quotations. According to an Express article, the first, the most evil among us always expect the rest of us to live by morals that they don't possess themselves. And the second, people sleep peaceably in their beds at night only because rough men stand ready to do violence on their behalf. The Prime Minister also outlined several legislative priorities ahead of the next parliamentary session, including proposed laws on parental responsibility, firearms, gated communities, and increasing the legal age for alcohol, marijuana, and gambling. And police in the Central Division say investigations are continuing into last week's assault of a 14-year-old boy at Montrose Junction, Chaguanas, and no arrests have yet been made. The incident, which was partially captured on video and shared on social media, showed several schoolboys attacking the teen opposite KFC, temporarily blocking traffic. During the assault, the victim was reportedly kicked unconscious, while officers say the altercation may have stemmed from social media banter. And police say statements are still being recorded and medical reports collected as inquiries continue. Well, that brings us almost to the end of today's show. Remember, for everything that you saw here and more, check us out at TTT Live Online and at TNT Today Show. Our social media platforms are listed on the screen for you. You can follow us there for, again, everything that you see here. Send us an email at ttt.co.tt to be a part of the conversation that's shaping our nation. We'll see you tomorrow where we do this all over again, 6 to 8 on Trinidad and Tobago Today. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Bye-bye.
क्या बात करता है यार? गणपति ने तेरे सामने आके तुझसे बात की? और नहीं तो क्या? गणपति जी मेरे सामने आए और मेरे कान में बोले कि अजय, अगर तू अपनी मम्मी को खुश देखना चाहता है तो आज ही अपने डैडी के स्टूडियो जा, उनका हाथ पकड़ और उनसे अपनी मम्मी की शादी के बारे में बात कर। बाकी सब मैं संभाल लूंगा। वो सब संभाल सकते हैं यार, वो तो भगवान है, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं। इसीलिए तो मैं फिर सनम आना, फिर सनम आना, ओ इससे पहले नहीं, ठहरे रहना वहीं, आ जाना, अभी नहीं, जब मैं
I'm Virmala Balkaran, host of the Socially Safe podcast, the new TTPS podcast where we share real stories, teach real lessons, and create real impact. From online safety and youth crime to community policing and personal responsibility, we go beyond the headlines and talk about what's happening in our communities with the officers and experts who are on the front lines. Because safety starts with awareness, conversation, and action. Tune in to the Socially Safe podcast on the TTPS YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Don't miss it.
Watch on TTT, Mondays 6 p.m., Tuesdays 1:10 p.m.
TTT News every night at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Good morning. This is your CTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts, making the news at this time. As thousands of students are studying for CSEC examinations across Trinidad and Tobago, many parents are focusing on how to help them study. One method is by providing them with food that they might need for their brain's health. Registered dietitian and nutritionist Candida Khan says it's not just food that parents need to focus on.
Our brain literally needs glucose to function, and it needs a lot of different vitamins, minerals, dietary fiber so that we could perform our best. And when it comes to nutrition, balanced eating is the only way to provide our brain and our body and our organs with what it needs so that we get the best results from it. So in terms of our brain function, what we have to really understand is that it's literally about 75-80% water. And we tend to not realize how important hydration is for our brain.
Ms. Khan indicates the foods that are needed to help with proper brain function during these long periods of study and focus during their CSEC examinations.
Also made of fat. So we have to also think of healthy fats and different nutritious options that we need to fuel our brain. For example, like different nuts, different seeds, fatty acids, omega-3s that we get from fish. Those are some of the things that we could focus on during this time for balancing our eating habits so that our brain could function better.
She also advises that students avoid snacking and skipping meals. Instead, she recommends balanced diets at fixed meal times. In other news, despite the Director of Public Prosecutions authorizing charges against 24-year-old Shannon Miller in relation to the disappearance of 2-year-old Angelo Tobias Plaza, THA Chief Secretary Farley Agustin has expressed dissatisfaction with the pace of the case.
Satisfied with how the TTPS managed this case. I feel as though justice is not being served. I feel as though justice is still delayed. And I think the first perhaps 48 hours or so of this entire case was just not handled well, in my opinion.
Questions emerge almost immediately regarding the circumstances surrounding the toddler's disappearance on May 11th from his Goodwood Tobago home, with the child's mother, Khadijah Tobias, and stepfather, Shannon Miller, coming under heavy public scrutiny. They were both taken into custody on May 15th with 5 other individuals. All were released except for Miller.
It's beyond me what a 2-year-old could do an adult that will make an adult want to get rid of a 2-year-old. It's a 2-year-old. And subsequent to the activity, I don't understand why we didn't much earlier call the parents to account.
In a recent update on the matter, Senior Superintendent Rodel Kirk confirmed that the search for missing Angelo has been called off after days of extensive resources being used to locate the child. He explained the search will only recommence if credible information is provided. In the meantime, Shannon Miller is expected to appear before a Scarborough magistrate on murder charges. Switching gears to sport now, the road to the 2027 CONCACAF Champions Cup will begin this evening with the official draw for the 2026 CONCACAF Caribbean Cup taking place in Miami, Florida from 6:30 p.m. The fourth edition of the region's premier club competition will feature a 10-team field that will be split into two groups. Crucially, both finalists and the third-place finisher will qualify for the 2027 CONCACAF Champions Cup, with the Caribbean Cup champion receiving a bye directly to the round of 16. Representing Trinidad and Tobago at this year's tournament are Trinidad and Tobago Premier Football League winners Defence Force FC and runners-up Club Sando. And that's what's making the news this morning. I'm Carrie Roberts. From all of us here to you, have a great day.
This is TTT. Live for local.